Some of the churches are so out of line with the Great Commission. They're so out of line with the teaching of godliness that they're dull. They're absolutely dull. They just think all that matters is to grip, is to give something gripping. But what they have failed to keep in front of their eyes, that it's about convicting, not gripping. They're no longer convicting. They're just gripping. And they don't go past the gripping. They grip with one stimulus and another stimulus. Food, attractive people, fun, events, and never do they ever have any part where they lead and convict the people on the teachings of godliness. They don't know the teachings of godliness. They themselves walk in worldliness. The pastors and their families shown as the leaders, they're all dressed for clubbing. And that's their representative photo. There are Mirage churches, churches that are false churches, and they are becoming the majority. They're absolutely no threat to the enemy. In fact, the more of these kind of churches, the more content the enemy is. I would go and give screenshots of some of these places so you see what I'm talking about. This is what it features on their homepage. Is Jesus there? Where's the Lord there? I'm looking at cityscape, slow motion, cool aerial. Where is God? In fact, I know that the aerial that they're showing has nothing whatsoever to do even with the church's location. It's just a cinematographic aerial. That's it. An aerial. It's nothing to do whatsoever with the church that they're talking about. It's just an interesting 3D aerial. How do you think the Lord feels seeing this replacing Him as the reason to attend the church? The salvation of Christ, the cross, the salvation. There's nothing whatsoever on the home pages of many churches today having to do whatsoever with the salvation of Christ, with Calvary. Nothing. What it has to do is what is so exciting and profitable for people for coming to that church. What do they get back personally? Gadgety things like growth tracks, marriages healed, friendships. You come away different, inspired, but just in the same position you were before, to fall right in hell when it's your time. No change in that. They don't cover that. They do not cover that. There's no more any kind of understanding or perception of honorable dress, honoring the vessels, as long as they're all smiling and holding hands, as if that represents loving one another biblically. That doesn't represent that. That represents that leadership has no understanding of the teaching of godliness. None whatsoever. Those of you also who are longing for a church that is after the heart of the Lord, that is serious about leading you to heaven, along that narrow way. It's a narrow way. Few will make it. This is what the Lord has said himself. Perhaps that's why they're not concerned. Since they may know this, they're not worried because they know the majority of their attendees are hellbound anyhow. There's a level of corruption that some actually have no issue having such a mindset. The Christian faith, it's about a walk, not a 1 or 2 hour, once a week time slot. This is the true way of Christ. It is a walk. It's not a dance that you walk a certain way for a little pattern. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. I just want to add here, I don't make a penny on Pastor Hill's sale of his book. Pastor Hill, for those who have not heard of him, passed away in 2014. So the message in this book is from a late pastor, not a pastor who is alive today in an existing ministry. I feature it. The reason I show it here, you can find the details by watching my video on the dream that the Lord gave me that ties up 8 years of my being led by the Lord in this separate mission he gave me